Hey, it's Miss Mocha. Welcome back to my Twin Flame channel. Today I'm going to talk about my post that I created off the Bible called The Godly Black Marriage, Part 2, When We're Married. And so basically what it is me trying to figure out what to do when you're married, how to have a marriage. For instance, like if one didn't see a healthy marriage before or wasn't, raised with one or, didn't grow up with one, didn't see one, didn't have one. So how would you know how to be in one? So I just, been asking God. I went to the Bible and the Bible had all these verses on marriage. And so what I did is I created a blog post to kind of put them into paragraphs where it's easier to read and understand them. And so basically it's like God's rules for marriage. So I'm gonna go through them real quick, but my phone is giving me like 8 minutes, and it's about maybe about 25 little bullet points that I put, so I just want to get them real fast. So, but you can also go on my blog, Single Mom Miss Mocha, and view the blog post. It goes into much detail on what they said, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But I'll go ahead and just breeze through them. I might have to do a part two just in case my phone cut off. So, the first one is to submit to the fear of God. So basically I created, these are like Bible verses. I didn't put all the verses down here, but I did put some of them on my blog so you could look at them there. But I literally created the paragraphs off of the actual Bible verses of what it says marriage should be. So first it says submit to the fear of God, which to me that just means submit to God, trust to believe. The husband is the head, so like head of the wife, head of the household, head of the, everyone else in the household. Wives submit to their husbands and obey their husbands. Husbands, love your wives. Don't be bitter against them. Husbands are to give yourselves up for your wives. Husbands, love your wives as you love your own body. And it's like, it also said, love your wife like Christ loves the church. And it says, man leaves his mother and father to join together with his wife. So to become one. And it's no longer the parents, it's the husband and the wife. And so was also saying to love unconditionally, be forgiving and compassionate, and have respect for each other, just like you do like your fellow brothers and sisters, or like people out in the world, family, stuff like that. That's how you should treat your husband, how you should treat your wife. And then it says, you're made in his, oh yeah, like we're made in his image, and that man shouldn't be alone. So God made a woman for him, to help him. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't do anything. So she comes to help him. He still leads and does all that the man should do, and the woman is sent to help. And so it says that wives have to be pure and have godly behavior, so that this was a Bible verse that said that if the man didn't believe the word, he should like believe it through his wife's behavior. So the behavior needs to be of God. And then it says the beauty of a wife should not come from the physical appearance or the outer appearance, the fancy hairstyle, gold jewelry, fine clothes, or like now, like what the hair is, designer clothes, nails, stuff like that. But beauty is the inner self. It said a quiet and gentle spirit was a great worth in God's eyes. So husbands are called to be considered to their wives. And then here's where it says two are better than one. And this says, one of the verses said two are better than one when it comes to working. So working together to produce like a double the profit, basically. So it's good that, so What do I want to say? So when you're joined together as man and wife, you become one flesh. But in the physical, you're still man and woman. You know, both need to work and both receive a profit. And so that's what the verse is saying, that two are better than one because you're going to receive double the profit when you're both working. But then right after that, the next verse had said, keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. So that's another thing that you got to do in marriage. And then it says the marriage should be honored by all and that the marriage bed is kept pure. So the wife needs to be pure, the bed needs to be pure, only husband and wife, you know, pleasing and making love to each other. And yeah, so making love to each other, sex was designed by God, you know, for marriage between a man and a woman. So you're to be fruitful, you know, have plenty of sex and multiply. And then it says both partners, so husband and wife or twin flame soulmates, whichever you are, if you're all three, should fulfill their marital duties by being kind hearted and pleasing each other. So those are the duties, you know, along with the rest of the things that you know a wife and husband should be doing. These are the godly things. Both partners, oh, I said that. Okay, so the next one is the wife has no power over her body and the husband does, and the husband has no power over his body, the wife does. And so it talks about how you don't deprive each other of, you know, of each other, or of sex, or of each other's needs unless you both mutually consent to it. But then it even says, even if you do consent to it, you both consent, you should only do it like for a short time or like temporarily so that the devil doesn't come in and try to tempt you, you know, tempt you past what you can endure, stuff like that. So the devil will creep in when he sees that you're separated from your spouse, basically. And then it says, another one was, if you find yourself unmarried or become a widow, it's preferred that you go without sex. I know that's crazy, but that's what it says. But if you cannot contain yourself, then it's better to marry or remarry than it is to burn with desire and end up, you know, committing sexual sin. So remarry if you must, or marry if you must. And it says wives shouldn't leave their husbands and husbands should not divorce their wives. They should reconcile unless it was sexual sin like cheating, you know, involved. Anyone who divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery, again, except for like cheating or sexual sin being the reason. So you can only divorce if there's been sexual sin, like someone cheating, fornication. That's what the Bible says. Otherwise, you're supposed to work it out, reconcile, be together, stay married, and go back to all the rules that God says. And then He says that He made male and female to become one flesh, joined together in marriage, and what God has joined together, let no man separate. So that's what Jesus was coming back and telling people, like in the New Testament. And so he also said that no one should remain single because all people were not called to remain single, but that all people, or that only certain people were called to remain single and celibate. And you'll know if you were called to remain single and celibate. So I go into that too in much more detail on my post because those were a couple Bible verses that he was talking about that. But yeah, it says to get married, stay married, and follow these rules. And